This is Overlook Park in Oviedo, Florida, and it's famous for Clifton Spring, and it also sits on Lake Jesup. And this used to be the site of W.G. White's wharf and store. Back in 1878, he opened this for the steamboat traffic. Back in 1765 to 1766, John Bartram and his son William traveled to St. John's River, and they camped at this site. So we're going to study the area and look at the magnificent live oak trees.
And lots of Spanish moss hanging beneath these trees. It's a very beautiful setting. And this is one of the springs here at Clifton Springs. And it drains into the Lake Jesup, which is straight in front of us. And this is where the first spring empties into Lake Jesup. At this point we're approaching Lake Jesup with a variety of egrets and ibis, white and black ibis. And we'll get a little closer to the shore and hopefully not scare away the birds. In fact, I'll try to zoom in a little bit here. In this locale, we are looking at the headwaters of the spring in the background, and it flows toward us to the foreground, and it passes through some tunnels underneath the road and then collects behind us into the main body of the second spring. And we have a blue heron here. This is the view of the second spring where it pools together, and in the distance you could see the pier that heads out to Lake Jesup. This is a view of the midsection of the second spring. And I will step a little bit closer to its banks. It looks like a blue heron just flew by. And at this point we're looking back at the source of the spring. At this point we are looking back at the second spring from the pier on Lake Jesup. And here's a view of Lake Jesup at the mouth of the second spring. Gonna take a walk onto the pier and get right up on top of Lake Jesup. I'm gonna hope that we see some alligators. Lake Jesup is where during the 1950s or 1980s, when they would find aggressive alligators in neighborhoods, they would capture them and they would release them in Lake Jesup here. And so Lake Jesup is still known as one of the most densely populated alligator lakes in Florida. And a bunch of ibis. Okay, at the end of the pier, I'm going to search for some gators. Very nice lake. It's one of the largest in Florida, Lake Jesup. Popular with the airboat rides. Next to the pier is the old dock. Dating back quite a ways, maybe back to the time of White's wharf, or a replacement of his wharf later on. This might be a, I'm not really sure what it is, a snowy egret or something else that I cannot identify. A nice looking egret on our walk back. He's perching himself up in the Spanish moss. In Lake Jesup, with the wharf post in the foreground and a fisherman in the midsection. Another view of Lake Jesup from a secondary pier located on the shoreline.